Hello, everybody. It is the 200th episode extravaganza. Welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc, Lofton.
Hello, hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and today we're going to go over the previous 199 episodes and just kind of talk about our journey over the last 4 years. How are you today, Cirroc?
I'm good. Not each 199 episodes, just like a general overview.
And we're not going to be covering 200 episodes because then we would give a recap on right now. But really, we just kind of want to, and we're going to go over all that, but we're also going to be looking forward all the way to the next generation, because starting next week, we will be covering next generation episodes with Denise Crosby, and it's going to be so much fun. So stay tuned for all that. We're going to be looking ahead to the next generation a little later on in this episode. But first things first, when did this was Aaron Eisenberg's fun conceptualization? Was it December of 2023 when he contacted you about this? I think it was, right?
2023? That's
right. December of 2018, which was 4 years ago.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that now 200 episodes into this podcast, I've officially done more work on this podcast than I did on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
I never thought that would actually be the case going into it. I never, thought it would even last as long as it has. When Aaron first came with the idea, I was just thinking, okay, well, let's give this a try and see where it goes. There was no real expectation for a success actually on my part. I just felt like it would be like two buddies hanging out and reminiscing on old times, and that's essentially what it's become. Except that he's not here with us, but it's still about us hanging out and reminiscing on old times and analyzing what is taking place. But I never thought we'd come this far, and it's kind of it's humbling and really special to know that this vision that he had was able to really grow and become this community of people that are so amazing and that I care so deeply about.
Yeah, and also it's not just 200 episodes that we've done. We've done 200 episodes in our flagship show, the Seventh Rule, the T7R series. But we've also done over 100 of the T7R2 series, which is all the new Star Trek, Prodigy, Paramount, Picard, Strange New Worlds, Discovery, and Lower Decks. We've also done the CNF videos, Captain Nog Forever videos. There are 47 of those. We've done a ton for virtual Trek cons. So
47. That's a cool number, right?
We're stopping there, right? Because number one, that is the special Star Trek number, what they always talk about, 40 Shields at 47 or Starbase 47. But also, Aaron appeared in exactly 47 episodes of Deep Space Nine. So
yeah,
he had the perfect number for Star Trek, and so we're just going to copy that and just stay right there at 47.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. But yeah, this is a lot of shows, a lot of episodes, but it's really been a journey about just getting to know Star Trek, and that's part of the whole experience as well. It's getting to know Star Trek, getting to know the characters and how they relate to us in our own lives. I think that's the special journey that each and every one of us has in our own way. How does it affect us? It affected me in so many different ways just by my own experiences and being there for it, but also now watching it from a different lens. It still continues to resonate and impact in my life. So I'm just grateful for this journey that Aaron insisted that we go on.
Yeah, he was super excited about it. I remember talking with him in probably November or December of 2018. I got to stop looking ahead. We're looking at 2023, 2018. And he was super excited about this. And then when he mentioned your name, when he said, what about Cirroc? And he's like, I talked to Cirroc and Cirroc would be down. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest idea ever. Jake and Nog, like it was like this perfect match, and then of course he brought on Jared Cooper as well, who he'd worked with previously, and Jared was with us for the first few months, which was great because he kind of handled certain producer things that we were not fully equipped to handle, or were not ready, or didn't have the time to handle at first. And so once he left, I kind of took over most of that burden. But thank goodness he was there for the first few months to kind of, show us the ropes and be, kind of like training wheels for us in a lot of ways. So that was great. And then you, me, and Aaron moved on to Deep Space Nine in May of 2019. And I have to say, though, Cirroc, your metamorphosis throughout all this has been incredible, because like you said, when you first popped in, you're like hanging out. You're like, just hanging out with some buddies, reminiscing, talk. And then as you grew, the show grew, because, you and I think it was after Aaron, sadly passed away and we didn't know really what to do or how to do it. It kind of forced us to start taking like avid notes and extensive, thoughts and all this, because we really had to step it up in Aaron's absence, because we didn't have Aaron to kind of lead us or guide us or bring the energy. We had to kind of provide it ourselves. And you've had like this huge transformation. It's been amazing to watch or to listen to, where now you're like this Star Trek savant. It's so cool. Like now when we're reviewing episodes, you go, remember back in that episode, whatever. I'm like, God, I've watched this series like 3 or 4 times and I don't remember this stuff. It's been pretty amazing.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan. It's been amazing working with you. And all of our team is just so special. But in regards to that particular issue, I felt like a responsibility that I owed to Aaron to kind of like, when we decided that we were going to continue to go forward, because that was the big thing, whether we were going to continue or not, and when Aaron passed away, it felt like, oh, this is a crossroads right here. Do we just walk away from this whole thing, or do we continue? And really the idea was that the best way to honor him and to continue, to pay tribute to his memory was to do the thing that he had this vision for. And so I think that was one of the big things that motivated us to continue to go forward. Mm-hmm. And then, having made that decision, it was also about, okay, now we got to step it up and actually, do this. And like you said, Aaron does so much. It's easy to lean on him as a crutch, because he can take over a conversation, and you can sit back and just nod your head and giggle nod and laugh every once in a while. Yeah, nod your head, just nod your head. And you can just soak in a lot of what he says. And he's so good at just being, a general on the floor when he's speaking, that it was easy to kind of lean on him as a crutch. And when we didn't have that anymore, it was more of a responsibility on us to kind of not only kind of pick up that slack, but also get into these episodes and really dissect what we're looking at. Because I remember Aaron was very adamant about dissecting certain shots that directors took, different approaches that actors took. And that was one of the things Aaron was very passionate about, was like really looking and dissecting some of these things. So yes. I felt like we had to kind of
dig in deeper.
Yeah, pick up that that baton and carry that forward. So it's been great. I've learned so much, and thanks to Ira and all of the writers at of Deep Space Nine that put this whole thing together, because they gave us a lot of ammunition to dissect. It wasn't like, simple stuff where you can just say, all right, well, that's pretty much face value stuff. It's a bank robbery episode and they robbed the bank. I mean, it's just, what else do you want? No, there was a lot more nuance there. There's a lot more meaning to take away. There's so many cultural references. There's historic references. I mean, these writers laced us with so many gems to just kind of take apart. And we probably only took apart 10% of how much material is in there. How many references to books, how many quotes from, authors that we didn't recognize on the watch throughs.
Right. Which is why we're going to be continuing to cover Deep Space Nine in a different way. We're going to be doing monthly Deep Space Nine deep dives to scratch a little bit more of that delicious Deep Space Nine surface. But also, I did want to jump on what you were saying about Ira and the writers and them. It's amazing, 4 years later, since we started this show, how many of them have been on this show, celebrating Aaron, seeing Aaron's vision come to life, celebrating Star Trek and Deep Space Nine, and really coming on. And they've all been so gracious and so fun and so introspective and so intelligent. Like, we really haven't had one bad guest. Well, there was that one, but no, I'm just kidding. But
JG said, "Don't talk about him like that,
or he'll come on again and teach us a lesson." No, but they've all been so wonderful and friendly, and the things that they've taught us, like the writers are so fun and interesting to listen to and insightful, and the actors are so gracious and fun, and it's just been an amazing ride to see how many people have been willing to donate their time. I mean, it's usually for like an hour at a time, or sometimes two, or like in the case of poor Ira and our What You Leave Behind review is like 3 hours. And he was a trooper. He's like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm like, are you sure? But they've been
but
fantastic.
I think of so many moments, and just they're very small, subtle moments that you have to catch in the conversations that we have. But Ira talking about taking a trip up to Santa Barbara and driving back, and then thinking, "Oh, I got it. The last scene's going to have Jake in it." Like, small things like that give so much insight into where these ideas come from, and I think about these interviews, like with Nana being so gracious and giving us so many stories about, how she approaches scenes and what her experiences were. And, I remember her saying that Avery was the one that said, pronounced my name Nana, because everybody used to call her Nana or something like that. And I remember that it was Avery who said, "How does your mother pronounce your name?" And that's how I'm going to say your name. Right. And so, I mean, just things like that. Those are personal kind of insights into, very intimate details of just how these relationships blossom and flourish. Siddig talking about his Chrysler LeBaron and being on the the Paramount lot
and playing video games.
Yeah, I mean, these are like really great stories, and that's been part of the journey, is learning these things and hearing these conversations. And Robert Wolf kind of on the fence about whether he should stay or go in that 5th season, and kind of regretting it to some degree. And so there's so many things that happened throughout the course of watching the show and interviewing and talking with these people, that I feel so much more connected to the experience of watching the show. It's like, oh, I got more information. There's so much behind the scenes that went on.
Yeah, and the community has really been unbelievably supportive as well. The fan community, where for example, our YouTube channel has well over 15,000 subscribers. and we've had well over 1 million views on our channel. That's 1 million times that people have decided that they want to watch what we have to offer. And a lot of channels can maybe reach those kinds of numbers by producing daily episodes, constant content. We basically have 2 weekly shows. We've first our flagship show, and then we're also doing the new stuff. And to have that many subscribers when we're not just blasting tons of episodes out it's really impressive and really appreciated. And the fans have just, how many times when you're at a Star Trek convention, does somebody come up to your table and tell you they like your show?
Never. I haven't heard it once.
Impossible, number one.
No, I get it all the time, and I'm really grateful for that too. It's a humbling thing that people have over the years really come to appreciate Deep Space Nine more and more, and the love has been increasing. I would say over the years, it's been tremendous. I'm going to be able to, we talked earlier about Next Generation and doing this first season of Next Generation with Denise Crosby, which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to actually have something to compare Deep Space Nine to. So
yes.
On the one hand, it's great that I've got Deep Space Nine, but I would like to compare it to the Star Trek of its era, or its generation, let's say, the same era relatively, which would put up against Next Generation or Voyager for me to see how it stands up against those two. But the new Star Trek, soaking all of that in, I'm really loving just the actors on those shows, and the relationships we've built with them. It's just been the greatest journey doing this podcast, Ryan, with you. And I'm grateful to everybody who's come on to support the fans, the producers that we have that have just, been with us through thick and thin and shared their own personal ups and downs in lives. And I just feel like an extended family has been created thanks to Nog and his vision.
Good old Nog.
Yeah.
And now he's infused in everything we do. My background is a Ferengi. We've got a self-sealing stem bolt for the two of you right here in our shirt. He's everywhere. And let's take a super quick break and on the other side talk about moving forward into Next Generation. But before we do that, I'm going to take a moment to heap praise on you, Cirroc, because there is absolutely nobody that I would want to be taking this journey with. You have proven to be such an incredible partner. Like, you're such a great guy. I can't believe how much you've stepped up to be, just the best partner that anybody could hope for. And anytime I talk about you, after about 5 minutes of talking shit, I get to I usually will tell people secretly that there's absolutely nobody that I'd want to go to war with every day, and share a scene or share a stage or share the internet with than you, because of just how unbelievably open-minded and compassionate and gracious you are, and how often you will give a very friendly fake laugh to my stupid jokes, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And it's so true. Like, nothing like Sinead O'Connor says, nothing compares to you. You're an A+ person, you're an A+ partner, you're an A+ businessman, and I thank my lucky stars. I thank the emissary for having you bestowed upon us. We're very fortunate for it. So,
thanks. You must have gotten the text that I sent you to say that. I'm glad that you you didn't leave
I
anything.
couldn't read it word for word, so I tried to memorize it. Did it work?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good.
I missed the part about handsome. You're handsome too.
There, thank you. Thank you.
But let's flip over to the other side real quick and talk about the next generation. We'll be right back, everybody, on the 7th rule. All right, we're back on the 7th rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
This is the special 200th episode celebration extravaganza. Can't you tell, you guys? We're just woo. So now
cue the champagne.
I know. Oh, that's a screwdriver.
Yeah, it's a little. What is that thing? A mimosa, right? Is that what it is?
So let's look forward a little bit before we bring on our associate producers, who I'm sure will have a lot to say. Let's look forward to Star Trek: The Next Generation. This is it's funny because by the time we hit the 3rd season, I've said this before, but by the time we hit the 3rd season of Deep Space Nine, I was already getting sad that it was going to be over soon. I was already like, it's going to be over soon. I'm enjoying this so much. I don't want the game to end. And it's so cool that we're moving on to another series and that Denise is joining us. And I was kind of wondering, for me, I'm getting this feeling that I didn't expect, where I'm actually very happy to be revisiting Next Generation again. You know, it wasn't just like a calculated decision by us, but for me, it also gives me a happy feeling to know that we're going to go back and look at the people where it all started for me. But I'm wondering, for you, what do you have any feeling or any sense, or are you just kind of like, like, are you excited? Are you trepidatious? Are you just kind of like an open book where you're like, I don't know what to expect. I'm just going to go in blindly and see what happens?
No, I feel like with Deep, in a similar way to Deep Space Nine, not in the exact same way, but in a similar way, I feel like I already know the characters. They've got Worf on that show, right? Yep. So I already know Worf. O'Brien's going to be on there. I pretty much know him. I know Marina as a person, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to see a lot of that. And then, guys like LeVar Burton and Brent Spiner, who I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of the characters that they played and their personality type. So I'm just excited because I know them already, as well as, knowing of Patrick Stewart. I don't really know him like that, but we've been in circles, in the same rooms together. But I guess that's the thing that I'm really interested in knowing the most about. I want to discover the lure of Patrick Stewart and Jean-Luc Picard. And that's one of the things, because he has emerged as the person that I believe is the most relevant, not relevant, but the most viewed captain. He's on the pilot of his own show. He's on the pilot of Deep Space Nine, and he's in the pilot of Picard. So he's been in the beginning of 3 different shows. Yeah. And that right there is interesting to me. He also has this overlap. Does he have an overlap with the original series cast? Has he?
No.
Is there no overlap there?
I mean, the only overlap is the original series cast coming over to Next Generation. There were a couple cast members from the original series, no spoilers, that do cross over into Next Generation, but not vice versa. Like Picard didn't play like a young ensign on the original series or anything like that.
No, but he does have an overlap, though. He has scenes with original series
yes
characters as themselves, as the original series character, right?
And one movie as well. The sixth movie, Star Trek Generations. That one had Kirk and Scotty and Chekhov, as well as the Next Generation crew. Is kind of like a mixture. Or wait, that was Star Trek 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Generations.
So my point is essentially that Picard has the most overlap than any other person, right? I guess that's what I'm saying. He has an overlap with the original series. He has overlap with Deep Space Nine. He has overlap with the new incarnations of Star Trek, right? With this new iteration. So he has essentially transcended all of Star Trek. He's everywhere in Star Trek at some point or another.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's had 4 movies and 7 seasons of Next Generation, plus 3 seasons of Picard. And okay, well, some people will say, well, Worf was in those same 4 movies, and he was in 11 seasons of Star Trek, and it's about to be 12. So he's going to have more seasons of Star Trek than Picard. However, he doesn't have. Here's the key: Star Trek Picard. Patrick Stewart has a series named after him. The show is called Star Trek Picard. So that's pretty big. To your point, it's true that he basically, transcends movies, TV, and new Star Trek, and has a series named after him.
So that's what I want to get to know. I want to know what created that legend. What Jean-Luc Picard, as written on this show, how did it create that much of a legend for him, or his portrayal of this character, that it would transcend everything, that it ties into Kirk, it ties into Sisko, it ties into 7 of 9, it ties into everything. And I want to know, who is this guy? Who got my mom killed, by the way. I got to get to know this guy. And I think that's the thing I'm looking forward to. And having watched Picard now, I kind of see the old version of him, the more frail but more wise version of him. I want to see the kind of the young in action kind of young Captain Picard version of him, as opposed to this Admiral version. So I'm really excited to see that.
That's what I'm really looking forward to you seeing too, actually, is because you've seen 80-year-old Picard, basically.
Right.
And I'm really secretly, I haven't been saying anything about this, but I'm secretly waiting for you to see 1987, 47-year-old Patrick Stewart, and see how different. He was much more commanding. He was much more of a presence. He felt like a military commander, and we kind of forget that, because as the years progress, he kind of matured and softened a bit. And then through Picard, in Picard, he's completely in that direction, but he's definitely in stark contrast when you first start watching Next Generation. And we'll talk about how much of Next Generation we've actually seen on the other side in a few minutes. But anyway, what else were you saying there?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Is also I'm really excited about seeing Jonathan Frakes playing number 1. Because I like Jonathan as a person. He's a lovable guy, and his energy is pretty much takes up the room. So I want to see how he plays this number 1 character. I'm sure he's a ladies' man, because he's a ladies' man. So
you're gonna get to see one of his nipples. Stay tuned for that.
Well,
you will see a Riker nipple in the first season.
That's not exactly what I was looking forward to, but I'll take.
Sorry, it's only one.
Only one nipple. Yeah, no. So those are the things. Also, Data, I'm pretty sure is going to be somebody that I'm going to enjoy as far as comic relief is concerned, because I know Brent Spiner is a funny guy. And to see him play this robot guy, I think is going to be funny too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you've got Marina Sirtis, who, when I first saw her at a convention way back in the day, I was like, oh my goodness, Marina Sirtis and Counselor Troy could not be more opposite.
Yeah.
Marina Sirtis is definitely acting. She's not just reading lines. She is acting. So it's really fun to see her now, knowing her, how she's so compassionate and sweet and doesn't make fun of anybody ever in 7 seasons of Next Generation. And you're going to see Geordi as a baby face. You're going to be like, who's that little stinker over there piloting the ship? Wesley Crusher. You're going to see kind of... because the comparisons are unavoidable. I'm sure some people made the comparisons with like Jake Sisko when they're first introduced. They probably thought, oh, this is this series Wesley Crusher type character. Now, obviously, you guys were totally different, thank goodness. And, of course, Star Trek is not going to repeat characters. They're going to give us something new every time. But you're going to get to see some of that. You're going to see some Guinan. You're going to see Tasha Yar, who everybody loved, and Beverly Crusher. Beverly. Some great moments there. It's really good stuff.
Plus, it's the 80s. I mean, the 80s were just like, insane. The big hair. Like they were really good days, So I'm eager to kind of see that. I also remember just the set myself, being on the set and seeing those kind of really light and bright pastel-y colors. That was the thing. Every time I go to Next Generation set, it was so bright. I'm like, wow, this is
because you guys were so dark, right?
Yeah. Every time I go there, I'm like, dude, it's fucking like it's bright in here. You can see everything. You can't have this place dirty. You can see all the nicks on the wall.
True. That's true. On the Deep Space Nine set, if things were dirty, number one, it wouldn't show up on camera. Number two, it would add to the authenticity that it's an old Cardassian station. Yeah, Next Generation, man, you better not have a cat.
No, I'd hate to be the cleaning crew. The cleaning crew on that. You gotta like buff everything down. It's all pristine. Really light pastel-y colors with the creams and whites. And my gosh, this is just like I would ask people to take their shoes off.
That's so true. That'd be so funny if, like, on the bridge, they go, Picard's just like, take off your shoes, number 4.
Exactly.
Well, tell you what, speaking of crew and number 4, we've got some associate producers that are banging on our door asking to come in. So we're going to let them in just a minute because we got a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about how much of the Next Generation have we actually seen. We're going to have a lot of 7th Rule trivia, and we're going to continue this 200th episode extravaganza. We're going to have all this like laser light show. Elephants are going to come in with Ewoks on their backs. It's going to be pretty incredible. So right before we do that, though, however, let's give a very special thanks to Homer Frizzell. Man, that's an OG. Homer Freezy has been around.
OG.
He's our oldest G. Dr. Anne-Marie Segal, Eve England out in Wales, Yvette Blackmon-Tom, Carmen, a.k.a. Skillet, Timothy Baum, TJ Jackson-Bey, out in Missouri, of course, Grizzlies fan, Bill Victor Arucan, Titus Mohler, Darlena Marie, John Mann, Dr. Muhammad Noor, Tierney C. Diekman, Anna Post, Rex A. Wood, Trekkers Against Bullying, Anil O. Palat, Erica Strom, Joe Balsarati, Mike Goo, DQ. By the way, Mike Goo's got some holiday cards for us. Thank you to Mike Goo.
Thanks, Mike.
DQ. Neil Akasaka. You knew where I was going with that one. Justine Norton Kurtzen, Dr. Stephanie Baker, Carrie Schwent, Faith Howell, Edward Foltz, a.k.a. Crewman Guy, Radek Orszewski out in Southwest Poland, Henry Unger, Mai live from Tokyo, Matt Boardman, Chris McGee, Justin Weir, a.k.a. Shag 840, and, of course, Dr. Susan V. Gruner. All right. Now the fun really begins. We'll be right back on the 7th Rule.
I can't visualize that.
Great way to start.
You don't want to know.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the 7th Rule with Cirroc, Lofton. It's the free-for-all.
Hello.
Here comes the savagery, led by Dr. Susan V. Gruner, of course.
I'm innocent.
Don't you have a full shirt on? Let's see. I see a little red.
Yes, I do actually. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice. Beautiful. It's an Abyssinian kiosk creation.
I can try it on the other way.
Colors.
Let's see what happens.
No, please don't.
Eve England is festive today, wearing, well, lights. And is that a Lower Decks Deep Space Nine shirt?
Yes. Cool.
That is a cool necklace. Does it light up?
It is. Yeah, it is lit. You can't really see.
Oh, it's lit. Okay.
Yeah, they're from the Disney
cool.
store. They sell them in the Disney store.
Oh,
That shirt's just like, or that necklace is just like Cirroc.
Eve
All right.
is lit AF.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Abyssinian kiosk mug as well.
Oh, she's in the Christmas mood.
Carrie Schwent is here wearing her Ferengi Eyes sweater. Is that new? I think that might be a new one.
yeah, I like
I
that
haven't seen
color.
it in green. I like it in green. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I went through all the colors and the green just popped for me. It looks
I like
great
the
with the
green.
yellow.
Great background
Yeah,
for
and the
it too.
purple. Yeah.
I like it in
I
green
took a
too.
picture on my way home from work today.
Oh, wow.
I gotta see if they have a hoodie like that, a green hoodie like that. I think I'm gonna get a
Possibly,
hoodie
yeah, there were
like that.
different color options.
Yeah.
Yep. Cirroc, it's your online store, so they better say yes to whatever you want.
I gotta get one of those greens. That green is nice.
Mm-hmm. Goldu Scott Jensen is also here wearing a radical 7th Rule shirt as well, designed by J.J. Lendl, as is the Ferengi Eyes, as is this one, actually.
I'm watching you.
What's up, Scott? Melissa Longo is here, buried under Tribbles.
Ah! Hi.
That's the old animated show.
Chris McGee is here. He's got more technology with him than all of us combined, I think.
Don't have any Star Trek shirts yet. I have one, but I'm saving that for our first episode of TNG reviews.
Ooh. So stay tuned for that. The Party Gorn is back. TJ Jackson-Bey out of Missouri.
In the house.
Very nice.
Somebody's drinking Klingon brains.
Yeah, Tierney C. Dinkman is that's like a Next Generation impression of a very specific episode.
So this is based off of DS9 Worf, and it's absolutely gigantic. And if I try to drink out of it, it buries my whole head. So I need to stop.
But it reminds me of the mint frosting, the peptides thing. Remember the dream where Deanna's
cellular peptide cake with
Crusher's drinking out of Riker's head, I think.
Yeah.
With the straw.
Yep.
Mint frosting.
Very frosting.
So look forward to that, Cirroc. All right. So speaking of which, we're going to talk about Next Generation in a little bit. But right now, we have some really cool trivia, you guys. 7th Rule trivia. And it goes a little something like this.
Hit it.
First of all, actually, this isn't even trivia, but we're going to do quick hits. First of all, Sue, when did you first start listening to the 7th Rule? Or watching?
I don't remember. I'm thinking Aaron was alive.
So early 2019, you've been around.
Yeah, but I only listened to a couple, and then I stopped because my mom, there's a lot going on with my mom. And then when my mom died, it was right after that, literally within weeks, that I joined.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, I think, was September of 2021. Does that sound
2019.
right? No, she died in 2020. It's been 2 years, almost 2 years.
Okay. So you've been listening
I have seen other ones. I watched the one that you did right after he died. I watched that show, and then I went back and I watched last week the one with Heather. Who was it? Heather and Kat. We were talking about the
Second Sight.
Yeah,
Second Sight.
I watched
Cool.
that last week. And where they mentioned the Bechdel test, which I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah. Eve, when did you start? You've been an OG too. You, Homer, and Marie have been with us the longest, I believe. Also, Carmen, aka Skillet, and Yvette Blackmon-Tom as well. When did you start listening? Do you remember?
Yeah, because I was really lucky that I randomly was looking on Twitter for Deep Space Nine stuff when I was having a Deep Space Nine dinner party for my birthday in the November, must have been 2018, and came across Aaron's Twitter feed, and then he was talking about the new podcast. So I kind of knew it was coming, and so started to watch it straight away. But it was quite. I remember. I don't think I was very tech savvy, but I was listening to it via the Odyssey Radio app, and it didn't always work. So I definitely missed a few episodes early on because I couldn't download them for some reason. But yeah, so been listening right from the start.
Shout out to Odyssey, now defunct. Now it is Subspace Radio. Carrie was looking away when we were asking Sue, meaning that she was thinking. She's like, when was it that I started listening? Do you remember, Carrie, when it was?
I want to say probably 6 months or so after the 2020 cruise.
Okay.
I think is when I started listening to
years
podcasts.
Ago.
It was after I started at a new job that I could listen to. I sit at a bench and put stuff together so I can listen to podcasts and the radio and music and stuff. So I started listening to podcasts. Started off with a Gilmore Girls one that I talked to Golder Scott about a couple of times, I think, and then that was sort of my entry. I'm like, okay, I love rewatching stuff. Let me see what else was around, and I think that's when I found out about about your guys's and the Delta Flyers kind of around the same time.
Cool. So a little more than a couple years, it sounds like. Thank goodness for the Gilmore Girls. And speaking of Gilmore Girls, Scott Jensen here loves the Gilmore Girls. But when did you first start watching or listening to The Seventh Rule?
It was within the first 5 episodes because I was floating around Facebook or something like that, Ryan, and you had posted in, I want to say it was a Renegades group or something about the show had just started. And I checked. I was like, "Oh my God, Jake and Nog together? What? Let me get on this." I do remember very, very vividly. I remember actually being at work at my old job, and I was in the warehouse digging through comics, and found Aaron's issue back there.
Wow!
Yeah.
While I was listening to the J.G. Hertzler episode where you guys were talking to him, which I believe is episode 2, if I'm not wrong. He was very, very early on.
2 or
2 or 3 or somewhere around there. Yeah, because I thought it was pretty funny that I found that issue right as I was digging through all that. And then in episode 4 or 5, Aaron actually mentioned the book at one point. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. I had it back here. Then he made a joke about somebody finding it in the dollar bin. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. The dollar bin in my store, hell no. It was the warehouse. It was.
Now, Melissa, I guess we don't have to ask you. You probably started listening to The Seventh Rule before episode 1.
Yes.
Much, right?
Well, yeah, I started listening at the prep for The Seventh Rule before episode 1 for
You're even
Aaron
more than
talking about it all the time, and
yeah, that's even more than an OG. I don't know. We got to come up with a new term for that. And Chris, you're a bit of a newcomer. How long you been listening?
So according to my YouTube history, apparently I started watching around July 19th, 2021. So a little over a year, but it hasn't been like I've watched every episode. It's one of those things where every now and then one of your episodes will just pop up into my stream and I'd say, oh, I remember that episode. It's a good one. Let me see what they have to say about it. that sort of thing. I hadn't started watching like every single one until like the last month or so, a couple months. Especially whenever you're reviewing the new series, Lower Decks, Prodigy, that sort of thing, because I love those shows so much. It's nice to see, other people loving on it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still just the babe here, and so I haven't been with y'all for very long.
Also a babe in his own right, TJ Jackson-Bey. When did you start? You've been around for quite some time. Do you remember when you started listening?
Probably around the same time as Carrie. After I think it was the 2020 cruise, and I was listening on Apple Podcasts. I don't think I ever watched one until Virtual TrekCon.
Wow.
Okay.
That's amazing.
July 2020, that was. Wow.
It feels like you've been around forever. You feel like an OG.
Yeah, you're an OG.
Totally feel like an OG.
I'll take the honorary. So I think, probably season 2-ish reviewing, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, my time frames may be off. I'm not good at time, so.
Very early on.
What is this time? You're like the wormhole prophets.
I think you actually had that line because I watched Emissary.
Yeah, that was my line.
Yeah,
my
awesome.
line.
You say it again.
I think Sisko is trying to tell me about time, and while I'm a wormhole alien, and I'm like, oh, time. What is this time you're talking about?
What is this time?
There's no time to argue about the timeline. Everybody knows that. Deanna Troy, you got it. Tierney, what's up, Tierney? When did you start listening in? Was it December of? Wow, was it only December of last year?
It's literally 1 year, minus a day.
What?
Yep, the 16th of. I went back to confirm that it has been exactly a year since my first FFA. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm learning.
That was my line.
But you're amazing, and I'm still learning how to just shut the hell up. But it kind of varies, because when I first found out about it, I think we had just moved into this house, so I could be right or wrong. I want to say very early on. I don't know if 2017 is correct. I don't remember what year you guys started.
January of 2019.
No, I'm wrong. I'm messing up something timeline wise. It might have been a change in job or something. Something was new at the time. I remember that there was some sort of life change going on. So we started a DS9 watch through for comfort. And James and I were thinking, we were watching an episode where Jake and Nog were having one of their moments. I think it was when you were teaching him how to read. And it's just the cutest
my goodness
goddamn thing. And I really hope that they're friends, like still friends in real life. And Jim was just like, we have the internet and it's creepy. I bet we can find out. And we did a little Googling and it came up, and you guys had not been on for very long. You're like, this is pretty awesome. It was a little rough, but it was pretty awesome. So
it's a little rough.
It was a little rough.
Wasn't
but
rough.
we did look into it a little bit, and I never was the YouTube person, not the podcast person. I'm techie, but I much prefer my acoustic manual. I can hold it in my hands, sort of things. But he was, so it would pop up in streams every now and then when he'd be surfing through YouTube. So we'd catch up every once in a while, and then it just fell by the wayside for a bit, just work and job. And then for our 7th anniversary, he got me a few cameos, and I think the only Star Trek people at the time were Garrett Wong and Aaron. Unfortunately, our anniversary is September 1st, and that was 2019. No way. And we found out why it didn't go through. And so we pulled it up, and we pulled up videos, and we pulled up Twitter feeds, and we cried and were upset, and it just kind of became a thing. So still kept it in our hearts and in the back of our minds. And then, a year ago, and then he ran down the stairs a month or so before my birthday and was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" It's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're being really vague here. And then sent me all the information. I'm like, oh God, I have to get dressed and be on camera and talk to people once a week. It's my favorite thing, but oh God. So
we don't mind bathrobes. We don't really have to get dressed. We just basically put a cloak on and wear shorts and sandals.
Today with that, well, we're not doing it because of internet outage. And then 20 minutes later, oh no, guys, we're doing it. Do you know how quickly I got dressed today? I had a whole festive plan. But
the early days were a little rough, agreed. But here at the 7th rule, we learn by doing. We don't learn first and then do. We learn as we go. Thanks to all of you. What's up,
Hey,
you're floating around.
Just
You're about
hanging,
to
I'm
fly
all
out to
checked
Austria.
in.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I got a little time.
Do you remember when you first started listening to the 7th rule?
Yeah, I listened to it in spits and spurts for a little bit, and then about 3 or 4 months ago decided to really get into it and lurked did the chat pack thing for a couple of episodes, and I thought, you know what, I can't even go a week without this, so I'm going to join. The heck with it. I'm going to come out of my shell, because despite what anybody else may think, I feel like I'm a massive introvert, and this is pushing myself to get out there and talk to people. Aww. So that was really good. I never got a chance to meet Aaron, and it really sucks, but with you and you, Cirroc, you, Lisa, I feel like I'm really getting that vibe, and it's amazing. So I don't know. I'm like, and about TJ, he's not a babe in his own right. TJ is a righteous babe, so we'll give him that.
Yep.
But I think I saw all these people. I get to know them on a weekly basis, and a couple weeks ago when we had a week with no FFA, I was like, yeah, kind of thing, So this is it's not been long, but it's been very intense, and I feel super warm when I'm joining, and afterwards I got a glow going. So thanks to the 3 of you guys who run it and bring Aaron's spirit to all of us, and to all of the rest of you who just are crazy cool.
Thanks, Mai.
We love you, Mai. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, and Aaron would have loved you, no doubt about that. Who wouldn't?
Absolutely.
I feel like
your insight and perspective is very unique and really good. Love to hear how you analyze things.
Yep. Well, and you're still the only person that made memes for us, like as in like for the free for all. You made graphics,
right?
Tell you what, guys.
I feel like I'm at the feet of masters when I'm joining with you guys, especially Cirroc's insights, literature references, biblical references. I learn every time I'm on here, and I love that aspect of being here, because I've learned a lot in my life, but every time I come on here, I learn something new, and that's so fresh for me. I love that.
All right, well, now we're about to learn a lot more, you guys. Here it comes. Here it comes. This is the trivia that we've promised. So, question number 1 is, how many T7R2 episodes have we done? No cheating, no peeking. How T7R2? Everybody at home, that is the new Star Trek. That's Strange New Worlds, Prodigy, Discovery, Lower Decks, and Picard. Anybody know how many of those we've done?
Scott knows.
Yeah, Scott should know, because
I'm taking myself out of this. Yeah.
We've got the answer at the end of every episode. We've got the number.
I think it's more like 60 or 70.
That's probably right.
No. Scott's
Scott,
like,
do you want to tell him?
47.
No, I don't want to say anything. It's
I feel
up
like
though.
it's
I'll
gotta
give you
be
a hint.
way higher, like 200 something closer.
Yep.
Wow.
102.
Oh. Well,
I was thinking
70's not
90, so I
that
think I was
far.
close.
102.
Yeah, I was like 32.
But 47, we have done 47 of another series of videos. Do you guys know what that is? 47.
Captain Nog forever.
Captain Nog.
Yep.
Yeah.
TJ knows.
Very nice. So this one's going to be even crazier. I even have to kind of look this up. I've got a really close idea, but I need to make sure. The question is, can you guess, anybody guess, how many videos in total we have on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel?
1,000.
I
Oh.
have no idea.
In total, like including clips and stuff?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's loads
All
of those.
videos. Yep.
1 million.
It's got to be $1,000.
Billion.
Because you've got to count the preview and the
768.
$1. 500?
$1.
50 cents.
500.
All right, if we have 190 something, and then a preview for each one, double that, then all the twos. Oh yeah, it's got to be about 600-700.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
750.
I just looked. I cheated. Whoa. That's amazing.
A jar full of jelly beans, and you got to guess how many jelly beans.
Oh, I'm always bad at those.
So
How many are there?
How many
I'd rather
tribbles are
eat
behind
them
Melissa
than
right
count them.
Sue, what's the answer, Sue?
You're really close to 1,000.
Ah, yes.
It says 965. It says
Wow.
15.3 thousand subscribers. That's so awesome.
And how
Maybe
many
we could
views?
Get that up to 20. Doesn't say, but you started in 2018?
19.
Yeah.
19.
January 2019. January 14th, 2019. And we are currently at 1,084,000 views.
What?
Oh.
That's amazing. Woohoo.
A large number.
It is.
Wow.
Okay. Here's another piece of trivia. Who edited 19 Seventh Rule videos?
It's
Heather?
It's either Aaron or Jared.
Yeah. Jared, right?
Ryan definitely edited 19. A whole lot more.
It's Mr. Aaron Eisenberg. He edited the entire first season of Deep Space Nine.
Wow.
And I encourage everybody to go back and check it out because he added a cool little graphic at the beginning where it would go like the seventh rule, pew, or something like that. It was really cool.
Who is good at editing?
He was.
I'm going to go back and watch them all because I obviously only listened to them because I was a complete idiot and didn't realize that you could watch them or get them other than through Odyssey radio app, which was really temperamental for me. So I need to go back and watch them all.
Yeah, same here.
Me too. Because I didn't know he edited
that thing. Go back and review the reviews.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to see his edit. Yeah.
Well, they're pretty cool. There's pretty cool graphics on there.
Yeah, a little sound effect. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so final quick hits here is about people's appearances on the show. So excluding myself and Cirroc, after myself and Cirroc, who has the third most appearances on the Seventh Rule?
Must be Melissa.
Melissa.
Gotta be Melissa.
Yep. She has a total of, and this is why she's such a football fan, 49 episodes. You guys know who's fourth?
Aaron? No.
35 episodes. But this is where it gets tricky. Who's fifth with 16 episodes?
Ira or Armin?
Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah. Armin, good guess.
Armin, maybe?
It's Jared Cooper, of course.
Oh!
The first 16.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. See, this is tough trivia. Okay, but then who is sixth with 9?
Armin.
Say that again.
Who has?
I'm going to say Armin.
Who is in sixth place with 9 appearances?
I just wanted to make you say 6'9" again.
Nice. I'm going to go with Armin too.
It's actually Mr. Ira Stephen Bear.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's
cool.
Yeah. So he is our most frequent guest. And then 7th, kind of a little gap there with 6 appearances. Any guesses for who that is?
See previous answer.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Armin.
Yeah.
Robert Hewitt.
I've already been out on that limb.
Yeah.
Robert.
Oh, getting wrong.
I'm changing my next answer.
All right. We're almost to the top, finishing the top 10. Number 8 with 5 appearances is who?
Oh, no.
Nana.
Yeah.
Nana.
George.
Nana. It's Chase Masterson.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. We don't remember anything.
Well, because Armin and then they've been on also the T7R 2 episodes. They've been on the CNFs. They've done virtual Trek cons. You know, this is just specific to these 200. So now there's a 2-way tie for 9th place with 4 appearances. And who are those 2 people?
Armin and Nana.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally, please, somebody put us out of our memory.
All right. Other notables are with 3 episodes: J.G. Hertzler, Dr. Muhammad Noor, and Nikki DeBoer. With 2 episodes, Hannah Hate, Tracy Coco, Kat R. King, Kim Friedman, director, Ethan Kalk, writer, and Jack Trevino, writer, and then a bunch of people that joined us once. But since we have 7 minutes left, you guys.
What?
Since we have like 7 minutes left, you guys. in 10 seconds or less, we'll go around the room here. What do you think Cirroc will feel the most when watching The Next Generation? Will it be amusement, disappointment? Will it be nostalgia, confusion? What do you think? What do you think, Sue?
Initially horror.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa. It's a thriller.
Hey, I was a original series fan, and I can remember the first one. But then slowly he's going to warm up to it and he's going to love it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you know what? Before we do that, let's establish this. Cirroc, you have seen some Next Generation episodes, right? Well, you said you saw a few maybe like on the cruise or little bits and pieces. What would you estimate you've seen? Like bits and pieces of a few episodes or what?
No, I haven't seen any full episode of Next Generation. I've seen just like sporadic passing by the TV.
What about the original series? Have you seen any of those?
That I did see on the cruise, this last cruise. Just because I was, it was running on repeat on the TV. So I did watch some of the original series episodes, a couple of just random episodes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so I saw a little bit of that, but I have never watched the Next Generation episode.
Oh, okay. I thought you maybe had seen some on the cruise, but this will be completely fresh eyes for you. That's even better. And I'll tell you, for me, I'm not even 100% sure that I've seen all of the episodes of the Next Generation, to be honest.
What?
I probably, I feel like I have, but I feel like there are going to be some episodes early on that I'm going to say, I have no memory of this place, right? Like Gandalf says, right? I have no memory of this place in the Mines of Moria. Some of them I've seen a bunch of times. Some I've seen once or twice. And I feel like it's possible that there are going to be a ton that I've seen, but that I've forgotten because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
It was like in the 90s when I'd seen it, or early 2000s. And some I may have never seen it. So I think the first 2 or 3 seasons, it's going to be
well,
really...
How old were you, Ryan, when you saw it? I mean, you had to have been like 10 or something. It's
when
like...
I first...
Oh, this is depressing.
When I first saw my first like Next Generation rerun was when I think
what year did it come out? 85?
It was 87 to 94. I think I was like 16 or 17, and I was sick home from school, and Star Trek came on the TV, and I couldn't reach the remote. I was too sick. I was like, oh no, I don't want to watch this crap. And it was really good. And so then the next day after school, I was like, I wonder if that Star Trek thing's on at the same time. And I put it on again, and it was really good again. I was like, okay, you convinced me. I was like, why does nobody like this show? It's got aliens and lasers and spaceship. This is great stuff. What was I thinking? This is good. Anyway.
I was 31 when it
came
out.
So real quick, everybody, that being said, now that you know that Cirroc has not seen any of this, Eve, what do you think will be the prevailing feeling that he'll have the first season or 2?
Dismay.
Dismay.
That's how I am feeling. That's how
he's really feeling encouraged by you guys right now.
I know. Terror, dismay,
horror. There's horror. Let's be clear.
What about you,
Carrie? I'm kind of the same. Yeah. So but it gets better.
No. That's so sad. Because Eve hasn't watched Next Generation either. So she's going to be a first timer too. She's on this boat with us.
Oh wow!
But I've seen the sort of little thing, the thumbnails on Netflix on it.
Oh, that's good enough. What do you think, Carrie? Prevailing feeling from Cirroc?
Sometimes amusement, sometimes confusion. Probably a mix. We'll call it amused confusion.
Yes, Cirroc,
this
is scary for you. What do you think, Scott?
I don't think it's going to be as difficult as the first season of Discovery's Klingon for Cirroc. I'll let Klingon talk.
Time crystals.
Good point.
I don't think it's going to be as difficult as that. So I think he's already over the hump of how hard it's going to be for him. Just knowing how Cirroc looks at stuff, though, and looking at the little stuff that he picks out of it, I think he's going to have a lot of fun with that. So I'll be optimistic and say that definitely by like season 3, he's going to respect the hell out of a lot of it. So I'll say that.
Yeah, that's
season 1 is going to be a lot of.
He might give us a bigger appreciation for Next Generation by finding stuff that we missed in 7 viewings. What do you think, Melissa? What's going to be the prevalent feeling he's going to have?
Fascination.
Ooh, one can only hope. What do you think, Chris?
I think initially disappointment, perhaps even a little bit of disgust with 1 or 2 episodes that come to mind, but eventually acceptance and morphing into intrigue and eventually joy.
That sounds like the steps of grief.
Yeah, the steps of Next Generation grief.
Healing for real.
What do you think, TJ?
Okay, I'm playing the long game here, and what I'm really, interested or looking forward to is seeing the connections with the other shows that Cirroc has watched, and seeing, this isn't new. This was here, in the Next Generation. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing those type of reactions, and and just really seeing him, get a spin of this kind of alien of the week type of adventure. That all of that. But there will definitely be some kind of moments.
Oh. Yeah.
So far, everybody's being good about not giving spoilers. This is great stuff.
I was really about to give one.
I know, but you didn't.
I mean, literally.
What do you think, Mai? What do you think Cirroc's going to feel above all in the first season or two?
I think pride. Pride.
Surprise.
A sort of pounding his
Pride.
chest comparison
pride.
sort of feeling of pride. Because of what he's been a part of with his series. And then also that's going to mutate into pride as part of being part of the bigger flow of Star Trek, because I'm old enough to have been sitting there waiting for TNG to start and hearing about it announced, all that kind of stuff. And having watched all of the series go through and knowing that he's been part of one of the greatest, I think he's going to feel pride about that, but I think he's going to feel pride about the whole flow of Star Trek as well, too. So pride is what I would say.
That's a good one. Lastly, Tierney, what do you think? Pride, confusion, horror? What are your thoughts?
I mean, all of the above, but Mai definitely took some of the thoughts right out of my head, and but my thought was just connection, and hopefully, besides all of the not so fun feelings of oh my god, what the hell am I watching? Exuberance, because you and Eve too. Oh my god, you guys get to see this for the first time. If I could get that feeling back, especially at this age and this stage in my life, which right now, actually going into it with this group, I'm really excited for. I've never been this excited to rewatch TNG. I really hope that you could feel Cirroc again, like Mai had said, that you're part of this world that means so much to all of us and so many other people in existence. As ridiculous as it can be and as hard as this transition was for them to make happen, because we're going in fresh. Season 1, it's a little ground beefy in places, but
that's one way to describe it.
It's a little beyond rough. We've been talking about it in voice, especially in Discord. We're excited to get your insights on a few episodes specifically, because I think you're gonna have some. So I'm hoping mostly, instead of going with like Ryan had said, what is this? I don't want to watch this crap. What he was saying, you're going to feel more like, all right, I am ready for the next episode, with only a little bit of apprehension of, oh god, I don't want to do this.
And speaking of ready for the next episode, so sorry, but we got to run. But everybody will join us for the next episode, in which we review The Next Generation, Encounter at Farpoint. Cirroc is regretting it already based on all this stuff. No, you're going to love it, Cirroc. We're going to have some fun, but we got to run, okay? So thank you to Sue, Eve, Carrie, Scott, Melissa, Chris, TJ, Mai, and Tierney. We will see you all on the flip side. It's time for The Next Generation, and we'll see you next time on The Seventh Rule.